Welcome to the 15th episode of the Tell It Like It Is Hip Hop News Reaction Podcast. This is SP, the artist, your host. What? Nas' baby mother told him to do this either song against JayZ? Stay tuned. Welcome to the 15th episode of the Tell It Like It Is Hip Hop News Reaction Podcast. This is SP, the artist, your host. If you're not yet a subscriber, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can get the latest notifications of the episodes that I'm posting. Also, remember to leave comments. Comments lets us know if this content is of any use to you. Even though I do my best to share the latest news, I don't like to get into everything. But if there's something you'd like me to cover, I will cover for you guys. Also, if there's any hip-hop artists you want me to cover that I may not know about that's up and coming, that's hot, please feel free. All are welcome, young and old, no matter what the race, as long as the music is hot. You know, they got love from us here. Anyway, I want to talk about today's episode. I had watched, today's episode, I want to get to it. It's pretty much about how women or relationships in general or anything like that can be the root of a lot of problems unnecessarily, right? And hip hop is, I feel, it shows a lot of it, right? Like seriously, like not even just the lyrics. When they talk about messing around with someone's girl or wife or whatever the fact, a lot of it is like in real life. All right, so I want to talk about a lot of that stuff and how it relates to a lot of us in situations and things of that nature. And I'm, like I said, I'm pretty sure all of you guys can relate. And the thing is this: when I share these opinions, it's not to judge any hip hop artist for any decisions that they made or judge and do any of that. I myself am not perfect or anything like that. I'm just a fan, and this is just my reaction to the different news and different things I'm hearing in hip-hop media. And I'm a huge fan. And like I said, you know, I started this hip-hop news reaction podcast to not kind of like go in on like negative news or anything like that, because I also share like good news and things. A lot of times I won't get into a lot of stuff that's back and forth. Like I said, I don't personally know any of these artists, so I don't feel like I can be really objective, you know, and kind of just dish on the back and forth and without any purpose. You know, that's basically what it is. If I feel like I can't get any purpose on how it relates to us, then I won't do it. But if I feel like I definitely can cover it that way, I'll do it. You know, I have no issues with that. But anyway, I wanna really just focus on this topic of how we may emotionally react when it comes to women, especially as men, right? So I'm talking to us men and the women, ladies. I do want you guys to hear. I'm not saying that women have nothing to do with these situations, but every individual chooses to react how they do. All right, nobody is the boss of any one individual. If I'm dating somebody and someone messes with them, right, and then I get upset about it, and like I say, I put hands on that person, or I put hands on the young lady as well, I'm out of line, not once but twice, because it's my reaction that matters. Like, I have no control over what someone chooses to do that has shit to do with me. But I want to talk about it, and I want to bring it back around. The reason I brought this up, like I was getting into it, it was an interview by Vlad TV, Vlad from Vlad TV, DJ Vlad, on his platform was interviewing Nas's daughter's mom, Carmen Bryan, about her involvement with JayZ, her affair with JayZ, alleged affair. She did drop a bomb. I didn't know this. She dropped a bomb that she had gotten pregnant by JayZ when she had an affair with JayZ when she dealt with him. She had gotten pregnant. She did miscarry that child. She said JayZ was aware of that. They dealt for a time. I don't know why they stopped dealing or whatever the situation was. She was dealing with him. I think when the beef with them started, I think allegedly she said that the beef between Jay and Nas had started behind the scenes. and had got into like one of the songs, like when Jay-Z said the lines, is that your chick and all of that song, the song that he had with Missy, um, that allegedly some of the references was to Nas, subliminals at Nas. She said that she didn't cheat with Jay-Z on Nas, that after she and Nas had broken up or not together, she had got involved with Jay-Z. Um, she did say when things didn't work out with Nas, she wanted to see what Jay-Z was about. She said that they weren't connected at all. She said she didn't really see any correlation, even though Jay used a sample of Nas's voice from his Illmatic album. She said that she felt like that was a producer's decision to sample that at Nas and Jay-Z. There was no correlation, so it wasn't like she felt like she was dealing with Nas's best friend or homie at that point. Like they may have been rap colleagues, but that was all it was. Anyway, I want to go too deep in it. Just the way she described the situation, even her getting involved, and when Jay decided to do it, she said she told Jay to chill and to not go at Nas, that wasn't good, but he did it anyway. She said that she did like Jay. They were very, very close. She didn't speak in a negative way about him, but she said she didn't agree with that situation. And she felt it was a little bit too personal. She felt it was emotional. She felt Jay had some insecurities and things of that nature. Um, and she said that she was tired of Jay going at Nas the way and belittling him. So she had a conversation with Nas, and she had basically made Nas privy to things that she had known personally of Jay-Z, and helped him strategize his response to take over, which was Ether, and how to do it where though he could almost like counter any response that would come after. Like he would basically take care of it or weaken him to the point where as though it wouldn't be a strong enough response. And basically the way she alluded to, like they strategized in a way to have him react emotionally, and which he did, and which was super ugly, which was the result, which was the rebuttal to Ether, which super ugly, although had some shock value, it was basically seemed like a tasteless attempt to just strike back, and it was not really planned well, so it didn't do well, and it just left Nas looking like the winner, and Jay-Z looking like a sore loser at that particular point. But I feel like overall Jay-Z took the L graciously, even though some people are trying to allude and saying that Jay-Z still held something against him, or like that still may have been something against him as far as the child's mom. And that's basically what I want to talk about. A lot of times that can happen. And there's a lot of things, it can be painful if you're dating a young woman and someone that you know or you're having issues with or that you're close to is dealing with her. And it kind of, you feel like you've taken a shot to your ego, or the fact that she's dealt with them, or maybe even possibly had bear a child with that person, that it takes something away from you. And I want to talk about that mindset, that mental model doesn't work. And if you didn't know that was a mental model, it is. We don't, if we're not aware, we use mental models for everything, right? Mental models for everything, heuristics, whatever you want to call it. We use these for everything. This is what we use as systems to do things. It makes things quicker. It's like a shortcut for our brain, right? It goes into our muscle memory, and there it is. It's there. It stays, and we just use it over and over. But basically, I just want to get straight to the point. The point is, we don't have to subtract from our self image and who we are because someone may be attracted to someone else. And I'm not saying that if a homeboy, family member, friend messes with a woman that we're involved with, that we shouldn't back away from it. I'm just saying that we shouldn't let it subtract anything from us. We shouldn't let it affect us how we view ourselves or how we think others view us. Because a lot of times we create these fantastical stories that we're not worth something if a woman doesn't want us, or you know what I'm saying? And then we lose our confidence, and we don't have much confidence, and we start thinking that, oh, every woman will cheat on me, blah blah blah. I'm not worth this and that. And a lot of times when you're in a small self-image state, and I talk about that a lot on my daily vlog, at Alpha Mindset TV, right? I consider myself a mindset expert because I have mastered my mindset, well, mastered my mind as far as changing my mindset at various levels of my thinking. Um, and that was not easy for me because I created a lot of entanglements and I got in my way, and I still was looking outside of myself and blaming other things outside of myself when I was the author the whole time. If I had any complaints about something I thought that I wasn't blaming, I actually was. So that's pretty much what I'm talking about here. It's not that, because we can't control what someone else is going to do. And like I said, if you feel like it's not healthy, because I believe in the proximity rule 100%. If you feel like a person is absolutely toxic, then you need to back away from that. Because although you can't control it, it's not your fault. When you react to it, you pull yourself down, and then you're at fault to those levels when you react to it. And I know it may hurt. You might want to hurt someone, but of course you shouldn't be putting your hands on a woman. That's one. Two, you shouldn't even be trying to assault a man regardless. And if you're not defending yourself, self-defense, don't even put energy into that shit. Yeah, it seems like someone may have a personal issue with you, but that has shit to do with you. That's dumb. It's something that's subtractive. Like, they'll feel better if they can betray you in some way or get somebody. Like, that means that they're better than you if they get a woman to do something. I'm not saying that anybody's insecure or small or right or wrong or whatever, but I'm saying that doesn't take away from you if they choose to betray you. And that situation, that energy, that Jay wanted to hurt Nas with, allegedly, because I don't know, this was her account of the situation. I don't know any of them personal. Nas's children's mom, daughter's mom. I don't know Nas personally. I don't know Jay personally. This is just my take on what she's allegedly saying happened. That Jay had wanted to use her as a pawn to hurt Nas, as a weapon, actually, to hurt Nas. She alleged that he used Memphis Bleak as a pawn, actually. But and I think the type of pawn, she didn't say this, so I'm definitely not going to put these words in her mouth. In other words, saying that you're so much beneath me, I'll send my little mans to get you. Like, you're that much beneath me, I'll send my you know my henchmen or whatever. You know what I'm saying, to get you. I think that when he does moves like that, that's basically what it's saying. You're so beneath me that it's light work. I'll let them handle my light work. Is what that message is, and I believe that that's what she was alleging. She didn't say that, but that's where I feel like she was coming. But anyway, like, even just her speaking, and she's a very attractive woman, by the way, very beautiful woman. So I understand that how Jay would be attracted to her. And back then, this was just old school thinking, right? The best way to hurt a man is woman, his pocket, and his woman, his heart. And if Jay felt like that's a one up on yo, if he felt like, okay, they're being considered like, okay, the top MCs, JayZ, Biggie, Nas, and some people, Jay wanted to be the best, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's a great mentality when you want to do something to be the absolute best. And a lot of times, they get the girls, they get all the accolades, the platinum plaques and all of that. Then you're the man. And to say that, hey, I got the guy that's your so-called favorite rapper, I took his girl. And of course, we can't say that he took his girl. We don't know that happened or whatever that situation. And I think we need to stop thinking about that. And the focus is really not just JayZ and Nas or anybody for that matter, but it's just women in general. Like, even if the women is at the root with the situation with Floyd and 50 and their situation, and I don't want to go too deep in that. That's what I've heard is the alleged problem. I don't know what that situation is. All I'm saying is And I don't want this, ladies, I don't want you to think, because this can happen too with you all in relationships when it comes to men. It's the same thing. Don't let a man be the reason why you guys have a falling out. And I'm saying, not to say that if a woman wants to betray you, go behind your back and deal with your husband, your boyfriend, or whatever. I'm not saying that you should deal with them. Of course, if they're toxic in that way, yeah, you should step back. And I'm not saying if they change their mindset, I'm not saying don't ever deal with them, even if they change their mindset. I'm not saying that either. All I'm saying is that you yourself don't allow that to subtract anything from you. Do not victimize yourself. Do not allow that to take you into an irrational space of thinking, and do not react to it irrationally. And I understand it's a very emotionally sensitive space, especially if you're giving of yourself and you're trusting a person and they cross you in a particular way. I feel like the best thing to do in any of these situations, and I know, look, this is like a hip hop reaction, and I know, but hey, this is how I do it, guys. As Peter Artist, I'm going to talk about what's going on, but how it relates to us, because I don't want to just talk about some shit on a gossip level, and I'm not really getting that deep. It's not about going deep. I feel like, so we're not going deep. We need to look at it and handle things. We could take a look at this perspective. This is what works for me, and I'm just sharing a perspective. It may not be for you. You may have a better perspective you feel. Leave it in the comments. I'm interested in seeing anything that I say I don't feel is law. I'm not saying that my opinion is law or fact. This is just simply merely my perspective on things as a fan of hip hop and how it relates, because I don't dehumanize celebrities because they're human. I mean, because they're celebrities. I mean, I apologize. If they're doing well or they're successful, I don't dehumanize them. In other words, they're susceptible to make mistakes. They're gonna have misjudgment. They're human. They're susceptible to what we all are. And a lot of times we need to stop judging, because we all are human. None of us are fucking perfect, because none of us, our skeletons or what our flaws are shown in the light doesn't mean we get the right to point fingers at other people. That's just my opinion on it. And I'm not saying anything is right or wrong. Um, your approach, if it works for you, it works for you. That's how I feel. There's a lot of shit that we're not all going to agree on, and I think that's a blessing. The fact that we have the gift of duality, we have all of these things alike. We're actually connected on some levels, but we still are all individuals. And I think that, given that we have the gift of duality, that alone allows me to be grateful and not to have bitterness and anger and resentment towards other people. And I know, unfortunately, some people may hold that towards me, but that has shit to do with me, and I'm not reacting to that shit. And it's not to taunt it or make anything less of anybody's plight or how they feel. It's just that I'm living my best life, doing my best to become my best self, and that's all that matters to me. So that's what I focus on, and that's what I advise other people to do. And I see an epidemic where a lot of people may lose their lives, friendships, a lot of just that's sad, over a loved one having an attraction for someone closer to them, or not even someone close to you. Like I said, it could be a total stranger, it could be an enemy or whatever. And that's why I say it's not, aiming at JayZ and Nas, but just how we can allow romance to just take us in the wrong directions a lot of times. And I just feel like my advice is this, and I get it. There's someone we're close to, or we know, or someone we may not even know, may be in a relationship with someone that we find extremely attractive and we find them extremely desirable. And even though we understand that there are other human beings that resemble them and has similar features and likeness, we want that person. But here's the thing: put yourself in that other person's shoes. Would you want your woman, or would your man to have someone coming at them, in a way, knowing that they were in a relationship? Or would you want them to simply respect that and say, hey, you know what? If that doesn't work out and I have another opportunity later, then hey, maybe something can happen. I feel like we should simply respect those relationships. I see it too, man. It could be a young woman. She looks very attractive, and then her man walks up. I simply respect her, and I just stop looking. When I was younger, I admit I would look, but now it's just that I look at it as a situation where I'm connected to people. Okay, I'm not separate from anything. I'm connected to it. I have my individual identity, but I'm connected to everything. And I'm not going to mistreat myself, and I'm not going to mistreat another human being. I can't control how another human being is, but I'm not going to do it. And I know this may be long and drawn out, but my platform is fucking different. If this ain't for you, then hey,
This ain't the place for just fucking gossip. Now, I'm going to tell like it is. You may not agree, and I respect that. You can have a different opinion. We can have a fucking discussion. I'm going to open up platforms, Twitter, so we can really get a discussion going on there. I'm really doing my best to organize this thing, guys. I'm learning as I go. I'm doing my best to learn and correct, and I'm going to do my best to create the best platform. We're going to start doing video of our podcast recordings. I'm going to have other members joining me, my childhood friends, my brother, my brother-in-law. I've talked hip hop with them since we were kids, since we were young men, and I felt like it was only right for us to get out there. A lot of platforms that inspire me that I like. I've already had this idea a long time ago. These other platforms have come out and made it a reality and validated my idea. I took a chance and I wanted to get in here and have these discussions. So it's not only going to be about me doing this. We're going to have actual discussions and things. But like I said, it's all going to come down to the point of how it relates to all of us as human beings, because it does. And I never just believe in gossip for gossip's sake. I feel like there's some gems in everything that's going on and some lessons that we can learn from others, and not to judge them or tear them down, but to simply avoid certain mistakes and to learn from certain decisions, good or bad, that our celebrities can make. And the fact that their lives sometimes and parts of it play out in front of us, we can learn from it, good or bad. And that's just how I look at it. But we don't have to tear them down and dehumanize them. They're just humans, okay? And they're actually doing a damn lot for us to entertain us. And a lot of times they have a lot of impact, good or bad. But we have to be accountable over the way we react to things. We don't need to allow ourselves to be led astray. And I think that it's a poison and a disease when we validate ourselves. You got to love yourself already. Love who you are, where you're at, with what you have, and know that anything that's going to come great comes from you. That great new job, that great new business, that great new car, that great new home, all of that money and wealth, it comes from you and your mind. You created that reality. You're the source. You're the valuable thing. Understand that. Stop making the thing that comes after you the value. It's you, and it's always been you. You don't have to subtract from yourself. Another person finding someone else attractive, hey, that's fine. Understand that as long as you're becoming your best self at all times and being the person that you would want to be and want attracted, who you will find attractive. If you're doing that for yourself, you already won. But you can't control how someone else is going to treat you. But just be the best you in all fairness that you can be. And if you gave it your all in that situation and it didn't work out, oh well. Don't personalize it and try to force it someone who's not. An ideal is not strong enough. It has to be that energy and it has to be a connection. You guys have to be on the same frequency, same wavelength. If not, it won't work. That's all it is. And it's nothing personal to either of you. Doesn't mean you're right or wrong or bad. It just means you're not congruent with one another in terms of a relationship. So we got to stop victimizing ourselves and tearing ourselves down. And brothers, I really want to say that. I understand that when we want to hurt a dude, we feel like, oh, I'm gonna get at his heart after his girl. That stuff don't bother me anymore. I personally put myself and train myself, and I know the path that I took was kind of extreme. Like we had an open relationship. I shared the woman I was with, you know, because I didn't want to stay caught and measure myself against another man and who I was. There was only one me. There's only one me. There's a bunch of men that can satisfy women, but I happen to be one of them. I'm in the conversation, and I stopped looking at it like that. I actually was measuring. When I thought I wasn't measuring, I was. I wasn't enjoying myself, and I didn't. And I wanted to fix that because I realized it was a small self-image mindset that I had, a beta mindset, and I was tearing my own life apart. I was taking the joy out of my own life because I was subtracting myself because someone else could please a woman. What the fuck? I should be learning from some shit. I can please a woman too. I'm happy to be in a conversation. The fact that there's so many choices for a woman to have for men, and they would choose me. I'm in the conversation. It's a blessing. I started looking like a woman is not an object or anything. That's a privilege to be with them, as well as a privilege to be with me. We're individuals. We're unique. Our connection will never ever happen again, and we should feel good about making that the best. Instead, I was worried about other shit. There's a small self-image mindset, beta mindset. And that's what I'm saying. Like, stay out of that because a lot of that leads to a lot of violence and a lot of depression. Just a lot of fucked up shit. And it does truly fuck up relationships when you subtract from yourself because someone else finds someone else attractive. There's many beautiful people. That's what we do as human beings. We find other human beings attractive. This is just the way that it is. We need to stop being shocked by it. And I don't know how we allow ourselves to be tricked into immediately subtracting from ourselves when someone else finds something. I don't know who started that shit. We need to be happy. If a person is attractive, it is. Stop feeling jealous and tearing yourself down and comparing yourself. Stop doing that. And I know it's a habit that many of us have had. Don't compare and tear yourself down. I didn't have a problem with jealousy a lot. I just compared myself a lot and tore myself down. You get what I'm saying? But then I started to appreciate who I am and all my flaws and my pick, my all of the things about me. My it's not perfect, but I want to do the best and make the most of myself. And the things that I correct, I will correct. I'm not going to do any cosmetic surgery as far as my skin and stuff. I may fix my teeth and things. I'm honest about that. I don't have a problem. Like, hey, I have gray hairs, right? Right now, I don't feel like rocking my gray hairs. That's just aesthetically not what I'm into, but I'm not ashamed. I'm a grandfather, for Christ's sake. I love aging. I love growing and being mature. I love it. I don't have any issues with that. I feel very youthful and I'm very thankful. Um, but all I'm saying is I've had to learn to love myself. At one point, I did have a poor self-image, which was totally a lie and an illusion. And I don't think that people should stay in that trick mind state, stay hypnotized. And that's all I'm saying. If you choose to, and it's a fact, you can. If you choose to snap out of it, I encourage you that you do so. I feel very free. I feel very happy where I'm at. I can take the journey and talk about how I'm, homeless and people been helping me with the graciousness and the kindness of their heart. They looked at me. Some had doubted in the beginning, but they see, hey, this guy really is serious, and people are helping me. I've been blessed, but I'm sharing my story from the bottom and how I want to create generational wealth and do it. But I don't have to lie about who I am or feel like I'm not worthy by default. All of us are. None of us is above any one of us. No one is no better than anyone. You just simply have to make matters make something purposeful out of your life. If you want to leave an impact, that's all it is. You can choose to waste it because we're all going to die anyway. Or you can choose to leave an impact that lasts even after you're gone. And I feel like that's something that's not a vain thing. I want to give something that lasts and trickles down and that validates the great messages that's been given out through history. That's all I want to do. I want to add to that. And I feel like that's if I can impact even one life, I've done that. And I felt like people have reached out to me and let me know things of that. So I know I'm winning already. But I want each of you to take that into your mind and not subtract yourself because a relationship didn't go well. Someone was attracted to someone else. And I'm not saying, hey, rappers, don't use that as your lines anymore. Clever little jabs at guys, girls to fuck with people's minds. You know what I mean? I'm not saying stop doing that. It can be entertaining to a degree. I'm just saying people stop reacting to it. Because think about it, whether a rapper or anybody talks slick, whether they slept with your man or your guy or whatever your situation is, you don't have to fucking react to that shit. Because if you're really being your best self and you're really giving your all to bring the best stuff to the table in that relationship, that's dead loss, man. And just let it go. And I know that can be difficult, but you got to let go of an idea. If this person is willing to give you if your welfare trade-off ratio is bad, your WTR, welfare trade-off ratio, think of it as like the Libra scales. If it's not weighing equally and balanced within your relationship and how you deal with each other and socialize with each other in a romantic relationship, if that person is not really giving and you're giving, 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 then you need to reevaluate that and you need to make a decision for yourself because you're at fault if you choose to stay in that relationship. Okay, if you choose to play dumb, you are at fault. And I'm never ever going to condone any sort of abuse, physical or mental, but you're allowing that sort of thing to happen. So you need to stop measuring yourself and not let anyone walk over you, value yourself, but also let go. If a person is not courageous enough or doesn't have the heart enough to let you know that they're not unsatisfied with you and that or that they would prefer to be with others and not really be honest, you need to take the stance and make the move for yourself. But don't take away from yourself and beat yourself down and feel like you're not worth it or you're not pretty or not handsome or not valuable or deserving of love. You just simply need to love yourself. But I'm gonna let you know now, once you get to that state where that fucks with you and you stop loving yourself and you allow it to take you down into a me universe, you're easily going to get depressed and you're going to start repelling love. You're going to demagnetize yourself from attraction, and people are not going to want to fuck with you. And you have to understand it's a toxic way of thinking, that catastrophic style thinking, those negative cascading thoughts that spiral into this fucking hamster wheel of this fucking negative fucking train wreck that you're creating within your own mind. And you need to just stop doing that. You're not less of a person. If a person does that, I'm gonna tell you what you do. Love yourself that much more. Make care of yourself. Make sure you're going out and you're enjoying everything. Enjoying everything. Noticing the fresh air. Everything sounds, everything beautiful out in the world. Every day, every second of your life. Go out and meet new people. Have a great experience with life. That person doesn't owe you anything. You owe yourself the best life, your best existence. You gotta stop looking for love outside of yourself. And that's my point of talking about it, because as a result, when we connect ourselves to that, our emotions, our everything, our existence, to whether someone finds someone else attractive more or not, we're literally taken away from the beautiful, beautiful experience of our existence, little by little. And we don't have to help. Mother Nature got this. We're dying. We're decaying every day. We're going to die. Mother Nature got this. We don't need to add in any fucking way to it by being violent, by being self-destructive mentally, any of that shit. Appreciate who you are. You are special. I don't give a fuck how you look or what you may think. That shit don't matter shit how a person looks. We all age and we all have flaws. That shit don't mean shit. Somebody can come and gas your fucking face, or you can get caught in a fire or get mauled in a fucking accident, or any fucking thing can fuck you up. It's about who you are on the inside. It always was. And if you're not big enough to understand that and love yourself for that value, then that's your issue. But we gotta stop doing that. You trying to use that as weapon, guys. And I'm saying that because a lot of bros will fucking take your life if they feel like you're crossing their heart with a woman, or may take their own life, or anything crazy that may take their a kid's life might get taken because they doubt the kid is theirs. So they kill the kid, kill the woman, and kill themselves. Some crazy shit. Because they say, oh, you're fucking that man. This his baby. Not even my baby. Shit like that. So let's be careful, guys, when we're thinking about like these sexual things. And ladies, too. There's some women that will take their own lives, or take their own child's lives. They might want to hurt the man that hurt them. We don't know. It's a lot of crazy shit that can happen. We need to think about this stuff. And even though I'm saying this, there's a lot of people that's not going to grasp and take this and run with it. And they're going to keep doing it. But if there's even one person that can hear this and stop victimizing themselves, or stop lending their energy to situations like this, I know it may be tempting, bro. I know it may be tempting, sis. That person to come on to you and they look so good, and it seems like it may feel so good, or you may be going through your own thing and it may seem like a good escape, a good release, but don't do it. Don't add to it, because would you want it to be done to you? You know what I'm saying? Let's stop having these small self-image shits when people cheat on us, or having a small self-image and allowing us to cheat, because I think that that's exactly what's correlated to it. For me, when I was a cheater, small self-image was correlated with it. Because when I was more confident, I could go after a single woman and say, hey, I don't want to be in a relationship. I was confident enough to do things like that. But when I had lower self-esteem and I wasn't confident, I was doing things like cheating and lying. So I'm just being honest. I can't say that's everyone's case, but I'm thinking pretty much that that's the case. It's not slick anymore, guys, in our raps and all of these things. And I'm a lover of hip hop, and I'm definitely not judging you. I was a cheater for a long time, but that shit was whack to me. And maybe probably say, hell, you just didn't have the balls. You had too much of a guilty conscience. Yeah, I did. I'm that type of guy. I'm going to tell on myself. And I did. And it did cause me to clean myself up and stop my womanizing and my sex addiction. And eventually my porn addiction as well. Like it did, in that order. And I'm blessed to have done that. It wasn't easy. It didn't all happen overnight, but it happened. I've been celibate for a lot of years, and I just been getting myself together. You know, my porn addiction was the last thing to go, but I try to keep things around sexual images to a degree. I don't allow porn to take up most of my time and where I can be productive. So I've simply given that up. And it's just my expression anyway to want to be with a woman and remember what that's like since I've been celibate for a long time. I have only been with one other woman after the relationship I was in, and with her, I was probably with like once or twice a year, maybe if that. So I've been celibate for a long time. I am proud of my discipline. And that's why I say when I speak on these things, guys, I've gone through a lot of situations and dealt with things, and I've mastered this in my own life, and that's why I speak on it. I feel much happier and much more free because I understand that my value is it is not made or equal to how someone liking me or not liking me. It's basically by default who I am, but it's only I have to be aware of it to have the experience of it. You know, it doesn't happen through someone else's experience of it. I have to see my value. And it's always going to be a situation where it's the dog chasing its own tail because that's the only way you're ever going to have the experience of happiness to understand it's in you. And you had to have the experience. You got to stop looking outside of yourself for it. It's the dog chasing its tail, guys. And even if there was some cases where the dog caught the goddamn tail because it was that long, you don't want to get caught out there. It's just an irrational way of moving. Everything is already in you. You are everything. Nothing is more valuable. I know this one seems drawn out, long and drawn out, but I feel like it's an important issue. And like I said, hip hop is very influential. Like I said, a lot of people attack it. I feel like it's deep rooted to me, of course, because I come from the inner city. I can relate to a lot of the stuff. You know, I used to sell drugs and all of that stuff. And I lived through a lot of the experience that a lot of rappers shared, and share. And I have yet to some of the experience I want to experience, like the travels and the, fun things and stuff like that. But I just, I use that in connection to my life lessons and things. And I think it's great that I started this platform because I like these types of conversations where we're not quick to just judge and throw gossip around and act like we're holding it out. There ain't no fucking human being. I'm going to speak the real. That's why I say tell like it is. Ain't no fucking human being no better than everybody being high and mighty with fucking degrees. All that shit is illusions and shit. Ben Suarez, his 7 Steps to Financial Freedom, I believe. Ben Suarez, if you guys ever read that book, he was a successful self-made multimillionaire, and he understood a lot of this shit. So a lot of these illusions, guys, just like I said, when you learn a lot more about our cognitive biases and what makes us susceptible to these bad decisions, and ways that we can be more susceptible to be hypnotized in certain ways, where certain people understand psychological influences and they simply leverage it against us, and in those cases we're our own worst enemy at that point. So that's all I'm saying. Like, you've been tricked, and it's not like it's some hidden group that's trying to get you. This stuff has been done for whatever agendas was in the past, and it's just that no one has ever spoke up. A lot of people haven't just came out to just make it a big public deal. A lot of people have written books and are talking about it, and so I'm not going to try to take away from their plight and their missions and the things that they've done and contributed to this knowledge, because I've stumbled on it because of these people as well. So I'm not even going to do that. All I'm saying is not really widely known, as much as I would like. I'm gonna say it like that, as much as I would like, because I'm not gonna get into that like I know exact statistics when I don't. I just know I would love to see it more, and that's why I'm sharing my side and my experience of it. It was not an easy. Everything that I'm sharing with through my vlog, and even the tips I share with the Tell Like It Is Hip Hop News podcast, is basically to show you guys what has worked and changed in my life, and to show that instead of us judging these rappers, how come that they're dealing with, so we can avoid those mistakes. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the good things, to save ourselves time. It's just a really intelligent way of being. And I'm not saying that because Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett says this is a good way of thinking, because they're like the two of the richest investors, in business, two of the smartest, wisest men in business. I'm not saying that just because they say it, but I just really feel like that's just how we should view things. That's how we should do things, in my opinion, because it's worked successfully for me. And I don't listen to things just and they say it. They're human just like us. But for people that understands wisdom a little bit and have made a lot of good decisions, I tend to kind of listen to them to a degree. Now they may be doing some repugnant shit behind doors. We don't know, but if it hasn't come out, then they may be doing something right. All I'm saying is, and disclaimer: I do not condone any sort of indecent behavior towards men, women, children, or animals. I always want to say that because we live in highly sensitive times, and understandably so. I respect it. I respect all of the movements, the Me Too movements, all of that. Um, you know, period. You know what I'm saying? Like this, my movement is about me improving myself and become a better man. And like I said, I will never act like as if I'm perfect in no way. And that's why I share this stuff. And I'm damn sure going to share the things that has impacted my life and changed my life, guys. Like I could have easily given up when I've gotten homeless and went through those difficult situations that I created for myself. I could have easily given up, become a drug addict, alcoholic, all of that shit. But I chose to fight and stay strong and to believe, and it was all worth it. There's still a lot of work that I have to do, guys, but at least I have a lot of the answers, and I've learned that you can leverage the uncertainty, and that's all I want the message. Now I don't want to go too off topic, but my main point is, and I'm going to close this episode out is let's just learn from these situations, and I hope that Nas and Jay are really past it. And a lot of stuff I'm hearing, these guys are great successes. All of these guys are legendary. 50, Nas, JayZ, Floyd Mayweather, all of these guys. I hate seeing my brothers go at it. It's not entertaining to me. And I gotta say that shit. It's whack as fuck. Bringing kids and all of that stuff. I don't like it. And, you know, we don't have to act like what all of us human beings desire to be with people. We don't have to stop feeling like it's fucking small if we love somebody. Yeah, I was in love with a woman. Yeah, my heart broke because I didn't know how to deal with that. I didn't know how to lead in the situation. I don't know how that situation could have went. I had a small self-image. I contributed to the demise of that relationship, and I accept that. But I feel privileged to have loved and felt love. And I'm glad that I did open myself up for that vulnerability. And it was a beautiful feeling now that I actually understand and see it better. And I look forward to loving more. It doesn't make us small to do that. We got to stop weakening ourselves. And I just want to say that, like, stop subtracting from yourself because we human beings are simply attracted to human. Look at it like this: out of all these beautiful options of all these beautiful human beings on the planet, nearly 8 billion people, someone that finds you interesting. That is a huge fucking compliment. You are unique. There's only one you. Be the best you can be. Stop comparing yourself. Be the best you can be. Do the best that you can. I'm gonna tell you like this: the right person, excuse me, if you love yourself and you are selfish and you're doing your best to please them, and you pleasing yourself too, and you're willing to let go if you're not pleasing them because you're not trying to compromise your happiness or theirs, you're gonna attract somebody. They're gonna want to fuck with you, and even if you're not the hottest commodity, or well, I ain't gonna say that. That's a fucked up word to use. I apologize, guys. If you're not the hottest thing sexually for them, and you're willing to figure out ways to please them and give them a time that they have never experienced, they'll fuck with you. So don't discount yourself. If you're not someone's cup of tea, that doesn't mean that you're not good to anyone. You gotta stop doing that. I used to do that too. I did that. I'm not gonna act like some fucking tough guy like I used to. That's bullshit. That was actually weak of me, being very emotionally defensive and reactive and pretending like I'm something that I'm not, or like I wasn't feeling what I was. That was weak. Me not submitting to my feelings and just accepting who I am and how I felt and observing that and monitoring it and inhibiting it. That's why I was more reactive. And even though I could be reserved, I would explode at times because I wasn't honest about things. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, you don't ever have to imprison yourself in that type of thinking. I'm stepping out there on faith, guys, myself, talking to more women that I really like, going after things because I'm gonna tell you, we only live once. Don't let a bad relationship, someone cheating on you, someone finding someone attractive, make you feel bad. Let yourself feel happy, because I'm gonna tell you like this, and this might sound funny. The more happy you are with yourself, and more in love with you are, and confident in yourself, and just forgiving and accept that people find each other attractive, and know that there's only one you, and fall in love with how beautiful that is about you, the more attractive you're going to be to a lot of people. And that person that you really want, that you feel is their attention is going to be driven to you. You have to understand how it works. You can't tear yourself down, because when you tear yourself down, then now you're repelling yourself and you're not attractive. You're demagnetizing yourself. That's what I want you to know. All right, guys. So stop using relationships as weapons, and stop victimizing yourself and because someone cheats on you or finds someone else attractive. This is SP the Artist signing out, y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed the rest of y'all week, and enjoy the hip hop that's coming out. All right, peace.
The podcast you just heard was published with Anchor. Got something you want to say to the creator of this show? Send them a voice message using the Anchor app, free for iOS and Android.